Hey, thank you very much for checking out this resource, and we're talking about crowdsourced activities here. At the most kind of popular form with that would be wikis. So think about Wikipedia. A lot of people contribute to make an entry on a specific topic. It's constantly updated and changed, and then ultimately it doesn't come from just one author. And that's kind of the gist of what we are going to be doing here. So my suggested path to success, number one, select the right tool, and it doesn't have to be like a flashy tool. It could be something like Flipgrid, which is very effective, gets the job done. It could be something that's basic that you use in the class. Maybe you're using like Achieve 3000 or News ELA, and the way that you're doing it, other teachers are asking about how you do that. But the goal is going to be that we're going to use that tool to amplify student voice and creativity towards standards mastery. And that's the next key part. You want to pick a standard that's something that your students have had trouble with in the past, or that that they are potentially going to struggle with, because you're going to invest a lot of time into the activity. So you want it to be, you get the most bang for your buck there. Next, when the kids finally perfect the tool and the skill, see if you could share it with another class or another group of students. So if you're teaching in elementary, you can ask your neighbor, hey, can we combine classes and then have my students work with your students to show them how they did this? If you're teaching middle school, maybe you have first period create your artifact, and then you share that artifact with second period and see kind of what the results are. Another one would be sharing the tool in a community or a professional setting with adults once this other piece is done. So you've done it, it's good, it's ready, another teacher likes it. Now see if you could bring it to your PLC. See if you could bring it within PD, or see if there's a way that you could share it. This second part would be the student leadership assignment. This third part would potentially be either the PD assignment or the community event assignment, or it could be both depending on how you're able to elaborate on it. At the simplest, most basic form, one of the activities I've done is peer teaching. So you're going to teach somebody else how to solve the problems that I know you are successful with. And then once you two are ready, you're going to share it on Flipgrid. And then on Flipgrid, we have a little library of problems that kids have solved. And some of the things I've seen teachers do, specifically from this class and program in the past, is they'll assign kids problems, but they'll tell one kid that their problem is supposed to be incorrect. So then kids they watch all of the grid and they play it like as an Among Us type of game, where they try and find the imposter, or the problem that's the imposter, which is the one that was done incorrectly. You're also going to notice here on the bottom left, I put what you can do next with the activity. This one, creating a product commercial. So you tell your kids, writing the script, you're going to sell us this toy. Here's the toy. And once you create those, you record them over here on Flipgrid. Your class would love it. Then your PLC is going to ask, how did that go? And you say, well, you know what, my kids could show your class and teach your class. You get a couple classes going, and then that's where you can potentially do a PD and bring kids into it. And then down here again, you have suggested activities that you can do next. Elementary state reports. This is another activity I did with 5th grade students, and they created a 3D model that had to do with a historical landmark. They created their reports. We put them all onto a Google site. That's as far as we got. It would have been cool to ask another class if they wanted to join in and do that, or to be able to share it into maybe like a history night, a family night, back to school, or open house. Middle school STEAM, we did this during summer school. The kids researched the bridge, they created a drawing, they created a 3D model in Tinkercad, then they created a popsicle stick model, and then each one had a page, and all of them went up, and then we shared them. Again, another activity that you could do like in a STEAM night. We did a middle school VR museum, same type of deal. Kids chose one of the civilizations that we had studied. They created the 3D models with it. We created little VR headsets or assembled them, and then we shared them. And the kids also made tutorials on how to create the models. This one was for middle school math, but something you can do all the way up to high school. We had our intervention students creating tutorials on how they were learning specific skills, and then they would share those skills in a video, and then we would put those onto, we called it our Emerson Middle School Math Academy, and it was all student-led tutorials on how to solve these problems that kids had trouble with. this one should say high school, basically any topic. But this is a wiki, and you might have seen the example that I put at the beginning of week number 3. And essentially what it is instead of giving kids one report each, so let's say, I don't know, you're doing like parts of a cell, or you're doing a specific science topic with physics, and instead of giving everybody one topic that they're going to write a report on, you set them up in groups, and then you give the groups the options to choose from different topics, and then you break down those topics into contents, which would be kind of the table of contents that would go on the page, and then they would create, in essence, a shared essay or a shared research paper, and then each one would take up a page. So let's pretend, well, let's not pretend, let's just look at what we did here. For these, the teachers had to choose between a specific genre of lessons, 5E lessons, gamification, readers theater, project-based learning, place-based learning, and then teachers had to find the research, the history, technology integration, specific examples, and then integrate it into their classes. And then these were done in like groups of 3 or 4. They had to have, sources, and so again, like this is something like picture research papers, except living research papers that get put onto a Google site that then you can then share. And then you do that. Other teachers ask, "Oh, that's great. How did your class do it?" Let me tell you, you could bring my class right over and we could show you how to do it. Or you could have kids just record how they did it, especially when you get up to the middle school and high school levels. So these are all my examples for crowdsourced activities that would blend in pretty well with the course trajectory. Reach out if you have any questions, and I hope you all are doing great.